Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. I'm working on adapting our input handling system to work with touch, which isn't as easy as I was thinking or hoping it would be, but we've got somewhere, so I'll show you where we're at. So I had Grok help me out with trying to input our touch handling into Baton so that we can call our Baton deployments or whatever with touch interactions. So we're going to be trying to figure that out so that when we build for iOS and Android, it can work on touch. Here we go. So here's my phone here. Here's the web deployment. It's the easiest way I know how to test on touch. Instead of compiling for iOS using Xcode or anything, I literally just deploy the Love.js project on my website and we're trying it. So the good news is this is being controlled via Baton. So you could see up there the input type is being printed at the top left here. So it's registering these touches, but you can't see where my thumb's touching. It is touching the D-pads there, but the start and select are actually on the screen. So they're completely in the wrong location, and then we're printing up the touch detection objects, which are also in the wrong spot, but that's not where the touch is actually registering. So I just want to get this back to where we had it, right? Where any touch that is being input, we will render it to the screen so that we can see where we're touching. And then the buttons need to become a color when we touch, just so that we can make sure that the sizing is correct when we change the scale factor for different sizes of screens. So that's what I want to try to work out tonight. But yeah, it's been, I've probably worked on it maybe 5 hours today so far, and only have it kind of halfway working. I was hoping we can just kind of fix the deployment and then just continue on with the normal code, but I can't get over it, so I have to work on it on stream here. So let's hope we can get something done here. Yeah. Okay, so we've got here in our dependencies, we've got our D-pad and our buttons, which we define with these things. And you know what? We're not scaling these with the scale factor. So since our game is actually at a smaller resolution, we have to kind of scale the X and Y positions up. So this is our A button, so I'm going to say that this is the constant A button X. You know, I kind of did these already. I had something almost working, but I broke it somehow, so we're gonna try to fix it. This is gonna be a B button X. So yeah, a little different of a stream today, but hopefully, you know, I like showing the behind the scenes of like how the web deployment's working. I think this is called options. Do we not have an options X? Okay, so we have an option, we have a select X, start X. It'd be really nice if we didn't have to do all of these button checks. We just handle it based on baton. That'll be so much nicer, because then I can just stop worrying about touch detection, and it works. So that's the goal here. Select X, start X. Okay, let's try to do this. So how we do this is we run our build script, which builds and uploads the files to our deployment folder, and then we just have to SFTP those files to our website. And then we can test it. Okay, it looks, oh, look at that, that's awesome. Okay, cool, so we've got this working. The buttons are, seeing, like, you guys can't see that I'm pressing the buttons in the right spot, but it is registering the touches right where the buttons are, but we're not seeing anything. We should be rendering them on screen here, but we are not, which I'm a little confused about. So let's figure that out, because I want to see the button's location and make sure that they are in the correct spot for other locations. Like other scale factors for other size screens and stuff. So we're going to see if we can figure that out. I'm glad that's back to working, because that was working and then I busted it. So we actually might want to commit here so we don't lose this again. Cool. Okay, so we've got a new branch called Baton Touch, which is the branch we're trying to figure out this touch input handling. I'm really starting to feel the crunch for the April 1st deadline, so this is not something I want to be working on right now. But in the long scheme of things, I think it'll clear up some of my anxiety over how complicated the code base is. So I think it's a great thing to get done, and I'm already got it most working, right? Like if we like the touches are working via Baton, just not the rendering. So like if we had to, if 3 hours go by tonight and say, okay, we just have to revert back to this commit we just did, at least the buttons and inputs are working on the mobile deployment. So we have things like the mini map on the mobile deployment, and therefore the iOS and Android. But I want to get the rendering working so that we can check it on different size screens, make sure the scale factor is placing the buttons in the right spot. So here, in my touch handling, so touch handling is a class of object, which is, it's kind of weird. I probably should call it touchable buttons or something, but it's called touch handling. We're cycling through the touches, which actually this might be why it's not working. Yeah, I think we have to scale the touches here so that we can render them. So, and actually, I guess this depends on Baton if this touch table is actually global. See how we're flushing this touch table and the touch is handling, and that might be screwing stuff up. I want to see if our baton is doing anything. It would be in our source baton, which is in the lib folder. It's all within the baton state. So I don't want to flush the touch table. Okay, I think what I want to do, you know, touches is totally different than the baton touches, and we're scaling the baton touches based on the scale factor. So I think we can go, yeah, instead of, I'm gonna potentially turn off all of this. This is so messed up. This is technically updating the button press value, which could be the render. I'm just trying to render the right location, X, Y. So I won't worry about that just yet. So let's just worry about the renders, and we're cycling through the touches. So we actually want to do for ID touch in pairs of, and then we can do this, our baton instance, and we can go dot underscore touches. So we cycle through the touches in our baton instance, and we're going to try to render them at their own location, their own X and Y, which hopefully is scaled properly. I'm hoping. Oh, and then we're doing a fill. Okay, so this is just the where we're touching, and then this. Okay. So yeah, it looks like. Okay. The other thing we're doing in the touch handling is we're rendering the objects in the buttons and D-pad, which should be this yellow. Like if we look at, those are touch handling, so if we look at touch, oh, maybe it isn't touch handling. What are our D-pads and buttons? Touch detection. See, that is so weird. Okay. So they're a touch detection object. Okay. So when we render those buttons, all we're doing is setting the color to this yellow or color, and we're going to print out the name of them, which is the direction, and then just do a little rectangle at their location. So let's see if we can get that now on the new build. So we build it, we upload it, we test it. I think we see the touch. Oh shit, man. What does it say? Touch handling 89 doesn't like it. Dude, this is so tough. This is not something I'd recommend doing. I forgot what line it was already. It was the touch handling, line 89. Okay. It was a complete fluke. touch handling 92, bad argument 1. I hate this to do. Please fix this nasty. Well, basically, we had oh, that's right. Our old touch handling, we were pulling into a global touches table, and now we're kind of using baton. We're inserting all the current touches into the baton instance, so we just need to cycle through the baton instance because we removed it from our old touch handling. PlayStation 16 doesn't like it. All right. Is that the Jimmy Cam? What's up, man? Yeah, that's the Jimmy Cam. We're actually on Mac today, so I don't have the Tashio background or anything. It says PlayStation 16. Bad argument 1 to pairs, and the PlayStation 16 is actually our loot. No, it's actually what? Game PlayStation 16. Character 7. What the heck? That is not right at all. Trying to figure out the touch handling for the mobile deployment so the website works on the new update. And it has been like a 5-hour headache. It says PlayStation 16, Character 7, bad argument 1 to pairs. But PlayStation 16 doesn't have, you know, maybe they mean loot. Maybe they mean loot. In line 15, not 16. I don't know. But let's see, our loot class might be using a global touch table. If that's the case, this will be broken. So let's do this. Let's go to the loot class. I accidentally deleted all my harpoon shortcuts, so I have to build them out again. Looking for the loot class. Yeah, see, we do have touches. Okay, so... Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is really bad. Yeah. I want to say we can put the V here. You know what? We should be able to put V here too. Because we had this whole issue where, like, if you hold the button to play the string, it would play over and over and over because it detects the touch. So we had to basically have a was touched value, which is basically like the press function for the keyboard detection. Oh, this is so bad. You know what? I don't know if this... I'm not convinced this is going to work. I tried doing the find and the replace, but it didn't like me replacing it, so. We're doing it everywhere, man. That wasn't even the line the crash was on, though, so I've got very little faith that that will have fixed it. It does make sense, though, because we flushed the touches table, so it would make sense that the loot wouldn't be able to work anymore. Loot 51. Loot 51. Yeah, I mean, V is local, so we don't have access to it. But now I'm just wondering how it was even working in the past, being local like that. I think we have to change all this V to touches at index K. Yep. Or I can't even see what the full debug line says. It says parentheses expected here then on 51. I don't see it. I don't see it. It's got the matching ones. Yeah, I mean, we're doing the same exact thing that we used to be doing. Parentheses, and then let's try to replace V with input list index K. In all honesty, we should have fixed this before we even we should have had this fixed before we got this far into development, because this is just so important to get the freaking input working. So it's just annoying to not have it done right, so hopefully we get it done right, and then we don't have to worry about it. There's nothing on PlayStation 16. There's nothing. Shit. PlayStation 16 is this line. It's just a variable assignment that we don't even use. Okay. I'm gonna revert. And what we're gonna do is go into our touch handling, and we're gonna leave our touch table here. We're gonna make sure we translate to the push. This is actually not. This is not good though. We don't want to do this. Yeah, we do not want to do this. But it gets our game working again. Okay, so the issue is, all we're trying to do is print up the buttons that Baton is using, right? So we set our buttons location based on the scale factor, depending on the deployment. So it's getting scaled by push, which means if it's full screen, it should get sized appropriately. If it's shrunken down to a scale factor of 2 for the web deployment, it should work. So the bad thing is we're not seeing any of these. You know, we're actually, well, yeah, we're cycling through our touches here. We need to cycle through our Baton instances touches. So what I want to do is just print up all the Baton inputs, just actually, yeah, all the touches that we've got, because the value in there has an X and a Y, and we're trying to draw a circle where we touch. So our Baton is registering inputs, it's updating, and if we take a look at our main, we should see where we're doing this, and it's called right here. See, we use the touch press callback function from Love. We get the new scale factor from our push library, and then we basically populate the input based on the new X and Y. Yeah. So why would this not render a circle on screen? Let's go here in our play state, and we're gonna just try to print up the whole table of touches from our Baton instance, which we're already kind of doing. Instead of doing active device, we want to not string, but we want to put the touch, and we are gonna convert it from a table into readable values here and print that onto screen. So let's try this build. Okay, so we're printing up the touch value, but I'm not seeing the red circle. So it knows we have, yeah, I mean, we are using the Baton touch for this. It's just that pressed is false. Oopsie. That shouldn't be possible. How did we walk out? Oh no. Oh no. We're glitching out of screen. That's not okay. That's not okay at all. Well, we're printing up the Baton touch. Technically all of the Baton touches, because if we add more, we'll see more being pressed. It's not carrying over a direction field, which I thought it would. Actually, this is just the touch. Okay, it's not the button or anything. So I'm a little confused why we can't render just the buttons. So like, Shoot. This is tough. This is really tough because our loot needs this was touched value. So I think we'd have to set this in the input touches for baton. This is so jacked up. It's really disheartening too that it's like even though the touch is working, that it's still buggy. Like I don't know how to fix the collision when our collision is fine. Like it has to be somewhat based on frame independence bug somehow. But I do not get it. So look, right here, this is what I really don't get. I mean, is this is in our love.load, so we can't render the buttons here. So we'll go to the render in the main right here, and we'll say that, hey, by the way, let's just render the buttons where they're at. And we'll try that. Ideally, we put it somewhere else. But I can't even, like, I just need to see buttons at this point to not be crippled, you know? Emotionally. Okay. I'm looking for buttons on screen here. They're not rendering. That is so jacked up, man. This is beyond jacked up. Oh, there's our touch. It's not being scaled properly because that's not where my finger is, but this is somewhat reassuring. You know, it is not being scaled because if you look at, yeah, when it's there at the bottom right, I'm just very tiny, so it looks like it's not being set by the scale factor. So that's part of the battle. So let's see if we can fix that. Now, what exactly is that? It's not a touch detection. It's a touch handling. This is so jacked up, man. Okay, so what we're doing in our baton touches, we have to set it to scale to whatever the push is, but we're not. You know, right here we take the X and Y of the touch we get. This is in touch handling. This isn't for baton. Yeah, this is the one for baton. We're taking the touch, we're shifting it to our game's virtual resolution, and then we call touch pressed with, actually, yeah, we're not even using the game X, game Y. We should be putting, yeah, shouldn't we be putting game X, game Y here? right? That's working. That's exactly where my thumb is. But we're not moving the character anymore. Yeah, we're not moving the character anymore. I think we might need to pass the old... Oh my god. It just means... It means our scaled... Now that we're scaled, we're not getting the right... Yeah, you know what? I think what we need to do is undo... Let me see here. We need to undo the... Basically, we need to define the touches, not scale them, but our push scales in the callback in main there. So if I look at my last commit here, we want to go and find our touch detection. Well, that's weird because our touch, yeah. What's really weird is like the touch handling is rendering the right circle, but the nothing else is right. So I kind of want to go find the touch detection here. These values right here. I'm just curious if this fixes the walking again. Yeah, I do think I was a bit too ambitious with this for trying to develop for Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, iOS, web. That's just too much. And the web isn't even working, so I'm a little torn. We'll have to build for the iOS and just see if it's jacked up just like the web deployment. It might be just Love.js. That is so weird. Oh. What, the start and select buttons work? Okay, let me see. Does the loot button work at this point? We're not updating our... Oh god, man. I'm so confused by this. What, we can't touch our D-pad anymore. But spellcast is working. Start is working. But we don't seem to be able to walk anymore. What the fuck? This is assuring, you know, like our A button's working. Our D-pad is not. I think we need to scale our D-pad by the virtual size. But I thought our push was handling that. I really don't know. We should be, like this yellow that we're rendering, I think is from the touch detection object. Because yeah, we're rendering the touch detection object, which we should have touch detection objects for the D-pad as well. They're just not showing up, so I think we might need to scale them. But I don't know. Let's try just one with up here. Like, let's say that we need to scale this by our scale factor. And we'll see if we get one of our buttons back. But we're not scaling the other thing, so it's just a little confusing. Oh, well, okay, well we can see we are rendering the select button here. Okay, so I'm curious if we just say 0, 0, this thing should be at the very top left and we should see it. Okay, up is over there. Let's see if this up is actually working. Yeah, let's see if this up is actually making us walk up. If it is, we might be in business. We did not deploy here. Okay, so, dude, why are we freaking clipping through the wall, dude? Okay. This is a good start. This is good. This is good, I think. We need our baton touch input to also handle the was touched. So if on a key press the touch is already in our touch table, we need to flush our was touch to false, because this is how we're only playing a loot string once. So once we get the other D-pads in there, I can test if the loot string is working. I don't think it would be though. I think it would just play every time it's held down. So let's just... This is so weird. So let's just see what happens if we put our X and Y at the, let's just put our Y for our up button. Let's put it at a virtual height Game Boy divided by 2. So it should be the top half or the bottom half of our Game Boy. Okay. Okay, so we don't need to do the scale factor thing, because our touch callback is handling that. Okay. So when we go to render the button, let's try to do it based on the color, not based on the set color that we do. So let's try to go into our touch detection, and we'll set the color not to the same color, but its own self color. Okay, and we should get different colors for each one. Actually, yeah, our buttons are all yellow. We're not rendering. Are we rendering? Oh, we are rendering the text. Let's render the text on top of the color so we can actually see it. So when we go to print the direction, we're going to do that once we set the color to white, so that we can see what button we're frickin' pressing. There we go. Okay. So we need to scale these and get them in the right location, right? I'm just going to put, I'm going to scoot them over. I want to do a real lazy way just because I want to test the, if the loot is broken with the was touched, because I'm fairly sure it will be. Because there's so many things to consider, like with multiple touches and then touches dragging from being touched to moving the touch to not dragging anymore, or to drag it off the collision, so there's like a whole bunch of things that can go wrong here. So I want to make sure that when we do this, we're going to do it for right now. We're going to say X of 40 is going to be right virtual height Game Boy divided by 2, add 20. I just want the 4 buttons on there so I can test the loot and see, because we also have to test like why we're clipping through the freaking walls. So we've got to also do that. So I'm going to make sure that this one is actually 0. And the left side is going to be also this virtual height Game Boy plus 20. We'll scoot this to a 20, so we should have up, left, and right on screen. Yes, nice. Okay, so up, left, and right. Then we need down, and we'll just give it a basic value for right now, then we'll get it right. Yeah, we also have the diagonals to worry about, which isn't fun. But let's do an X here of 20, a Y of virtual height Game Boy divided by 2 plus 40. Okay, there's our buttons. So let's test this deployment and just see if the loot works at all. Yeah, because I'm worried about that. Honestly, yeah, I'm going to be pretty stressed if I can't fix this tonight, because this isn't really even on our demo to-do list. It is if I think about it, like, wanting it to be on mobile also. It'd be nice to be able to deploy the mobile demo to the website, even though Bitzer doesn't work online because we don't have access to the directory to save in. That's okay. It'd be nice to just have people play through. Okay, we just uploaded. Let's test. Okay, I'm like very, very, very surprised that that works. Why? Why is it okay for us to clip outside the wall here? So like the thing is, we're scaling our position based on delta time, which should mean we move the same step no matter what frame rate we're going. So we are at a slower frame rate here. But that shouldn't mean our game breaks. Let me see. Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty sure we turned off. Let me see here. We need to go to our conf. Yeah, we have our VSync on 0 here. So if we turn on VSync, we get about 60 FPS on here, and we were getting about 25-30 on the old deployment. So let's see if VSync is on, what frame rate we're getting. Because it shouldn't, I don't get why VSync off would be slower. I don't get that. So we just uploaded it. Let's reload. So VSync is about 30 frames or 23 frames, 25 frames. We'll refresh, see what VSync on is. About the same. Bro. I mean, it's like, the thing is, we're not walking any faster. We're really not walking any faster, so I don't see why the collision would be so jacked. It's like so jacked. This is really cool though. It's really cool to see the demo level. Oh my god, it's so jacked up, dude. Is our low power mode on? No, it is not. I don't know. What do we do? Why does it run so bad? It's 30. It should run at like 60. But it shouldn't break running at 30. It really shouldn't. Especially because, look, all the collision is just so jacked up. So jacked up. We're detecting a left collision here. Oh my god, it's so bad. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. We could go ahead and keep progressing with the touch. It's just that it's broken, right? Like, if we can't fix the frame rate issue, then the touch deployment is just not working at all, because you break the game just by walking. So I don't know what the move is. check. I mean, the crazy thing is, like, we look like we're going the exact right speed. So I don't know how to do anything different for that. This might be... Yeah, you know, I mean, is our collision detection really not checking for delta time? I know our character advancement is, but I don't know about our collision. Our collision detection has nothing to do with time, it just has to do with oh, undo movement? You undo movement. Huh. I never thought about doing this. This is... Because, yeah, if we detect a collision instead of... Well... Wow, you know what? I never thought of doing this. This is a lot simpler than what we're doing. What we're doing is checking collision on... Oh my god. This is a way better way to do it. Because what we're doing is we're checking up, left, down, right collision. And depending on which one of those collisions hits, we move to the appropriate side. But what this is doing is checking for any collision whatsoever and then just undoing the movement. So it's kind of just capturing all the options. Because yeah, we don't want to move our character just to the side of something. Oh, let me think. There's pros and cons, right, to doing it this way. Our way currently kind of helps us fit into a non-pixel perfect side doorway or whatever, because it'll collide us and move us beneath it. But this is really smart, I think. We might want to try this. Yeah, we need to check for player to magic or player to map object collisions. Yeah, let's try this. Man, this is so jacked up. Okay. So if we collide, we're setting an X position instead of undoing the movement. Let's try just doing this, where we do this. We negate. We take our... Yeah, let's try to do this. We have to shift it by speed times delta time. So let's try this. Okay, so if we left collide, we're going to move our player's X position to be, we want to move it back to the right before the collision. So we're going to positively adjust our X by our player's walk speed scaled by delta time. If we right collide, we want to negatively adjust it to the left. If we top collide, we want to take our Y and positively adjust it below, so we add it. That's right. Then we would want to subtract it here. Let's see if our collision is all jacked up on normal stuff. Well, okay. It looks okay. It looks okay. Let's see. It's a really smart way to do it. I did not think of that. Because yeah, that's great, because instead of moving our character like a whole tile size, we just undo the movement after the collision. So I'm hoping it'll fix the mobile deployment issue at least. No, it's still jacked up. Well, you know what? This is actually a treasure chest object. We weren't doing the collision for that. Oh, still busted on the collidable wall objects too. Shoot. Yeah, okay. Well, we could try, well, yeah, if we just did this for, we should check what we just did this. Yo, Merc Sue, what's up? How's it going? I'm rehauling our touch input detection for the new input library we just did the other day. So hopefully now I can decouple all the touch logic and just do it based on action so that it works for both keyboard, touch, and controller, all with the same logic. It's just that I'm noticing on the mobile deployment now, we don't have proper collision detection. We just walk through walls. So that's a little disheartening. So I'm trying to fix that. And this is we're like 3 steps removed from what I want to be doing for the demo right now. It's just that I know I'm not going to be able to focus on anything else until this is fixed, because I got it mostly there. I just need that last percent to fix it, and then I can sleep easy at night. So this was to a map object collision detection, which is all the walls. Yeah, that should have worked. Let's try to do it here. You know, I'm just maybe the entity collision is what took precedence over it. this is something different. This isn't setting our player. We need a collision that's actually changing our player's location, not just detecting a collision. Let's see, if our player left collides, that should be, yeah, since it's a method defined on the player, we should move our player back to the right. Okay, let me just double check that this seems to be working on this deployment, or this running locally. See, and look at, we're running at like 500 frames a second here. It's got to be the frame rate independence, but we're multiplying by delta time, so it should be independent. This is for pushables, which I'm not too worried about, because I'm more worried about just clipping through the wall, period, which it really would be this one, right? If we were to add something crazy here and say, like, let's just add 10 pixels to our left collides, then when we left collide, see how it kicks us back really far? So that does seem to be working. I don't get, yeah, like, and what's crazy is it does seem, we seem to be walking at the same speed regardless of frame rate. So that looks right. Like, it looks like we're doing our walk speed based on the frame rate. We are not. We are not. Yeah, we are not scaling the walk speed based on delta time, which is like the biggest no-no. So if we multiply this, if we scale this by delta time, which it should have been, we might need to, do we change? Okay, well we do, oh, you know what? No, we are doing it here. Walk speed times delta time. Yeah, so when we're actually updating our X and Y values, we are scaling walk speed by delta time. Okay, so we are. but it still broke. So like, what is breaking it? Why at 30 frames per second all the collision is busted? Because right here, player to pushables, yeah, this isn't so important. Yeah, it should be this. Huh. Yeah, it's just disheartening. Yeah, like let's try this. If we do this vsync false, we can maybe test it here locally. Let's try it. See, I thought 1 was false. It's still running at 500 frames. If we don't set it at all, we get a 60 FPS. Let's try not setting it all and just see what difference it makes on the web deployment. Still 30. Actually, it's a little higher. Well, yeah, it hovers around 30. Fuck, man. Oh, fuck. We just we don't even kind of get collision on the wall here. What's weird is like side collision works fine. Oops. Maybe not. Oh, it just crashed on me. Oh, it just completely crashed. Yeah, we're able to walk through everything. Yeah, well, so Merksu, I've changed. The online deployment was working. It's just that, dude, what we had to do, it was so gross. Like, so instead of, like, we used to have it here in this thing called touch handling, where we had this .touches table. We would store the data from all the touches from Love, and then we had this touch input handling that we changed everything, because the idea was we used to have it baked in Love. So it was part of the global touches table that we get from the callback that Love gives us anytime there's a registered touch or a touch move or a touch release. So we were doing all of our touch detection using this global touches table that Love was giving us, but we changed it just today. We changed it so that we use our input handling instead, which is now using Baton library, because we want to be able to script logic for the action in the game as in an A button press. We want to just, do it once, because what I was doing was I had this, if love.keyboard was pressed A button or A key, then we do the stuff for the A button, but then we need to also add controller support if a controller's plugged in, and we need it to do the same thing, and then we also need it on touch, so we also need it to do the same thing. And I had this like triple duplicated code, so anytime I add any feature for a Love key press, I was having to go and add the corresponding touch detection logic for it. So now we're using the Baton library to handle this inputs, so that we just do it based on an A button press instead of a keyboard press or a joystick button press or a Love touch. We're doing it just based on the action, not what key it's rendered to. So we have it. So I really don't get why the collision would be busted. The only thing I do know is that when my phone was on low power mode, it would cut the frame rate by half. So it normally would run at 60 FPS, but whenever it would run at 30 FPS, we'd get those collision issues. So here's the Baton table, or library, and we modified the library to accept touches because it doesn't accept touches out the box. So we had to go in and add this stuff like right here, anything with Baton touch. So we add in a touch table on this instance, and then we add this whole source function for a touch where we're asking if the keyboard is whatever input we told Baton is down, then we look for a region which is like an up button or a A button that matches the direction of the touch detection object. Dude, it's nuts. And we basically just return a 1 if it's pressed, return 0 if it's not pressed for whatever button. So the thing is, like, we changed all of this Baton stuff, but that's not what's causing the collision detection to break. What's causing that to break is that it's running at 30 FPS, and I don't get why 30 FPS would have anything to do with breaking our game, because we're scaling things by delta time, so it should run at any frame rate the same. And my phone is not on low power mode, so I don't get why it's only running at 30 FPS. But I have noticed that in the past, that if it's running at 30, it's just not a smooth collision experience. Yeah, I mean, we just teleport right through shit. Yeah, I did back up the old web deployment so I can test it and see if it's at 30 FPS or 60. I'm pretty sure it was 60 though. Because whenever my phone went on low power mode, it would go to 30 and everything would break. So I've known that this was an issue, but I don't get why it's breaking now on the new deployment. I don't know. So yeah, in the past, the only thing that was controlling the frame rate was this VSync. And if it was on, we would get upwards of like 500 frames a second here. Maybe the other way around. If it was on... Shoot, man. If it was on, it locked it to 50, but if it was off, we were getting like 500 frames a second here. And this is the one that we deployed to the website, and it's still only capped. It's still capped at 30. So let's try to upload it again and just make sure that we did the right vsync of off. Let's try it. This, what's sad is like this wasn't even on the menu to do today. It's just something I know needed to be fixed. It's not getting us closer to the demo being ready unless we wanted the demo ready on the website. So I'm just getting a little frustrated with it. Because the one that was on there was like maybe 4 months old. You know, we didn't have bats, we didn't have the opening cinematic scripted. Oh my god, it's so jacked up. Yeah, so jacked up. At least on phone it is, right? Like, maybe it's okay on here. Yeah, okay, well, we're getting a high enough frame rate. So it looks like collision works fine on desktop. It's just on the phone. But why would 30 FPS break it? We've got to be not scaling by delta time somewhere. We have to be. I mean, it's not in the layer to map object collision. We already did that. It's good that it works on the actual web deployment on the computer, but yeah, on mobile it's just crap in the bed. We must not be scaling somewhere by delta time, but it looks like it's at the right speed. You know, walk speed looks normal. Walk speed looks totally normal. Shoot, man. Okay, this is in Safari instead of Firefox. Still busted. It's got to be something. It's got to be something with delta time somewhere. Has to be. Has to be. Let's just take it, you know, let's look at our entity class. Let's look at our player class. look at our walk state. We assign our walk speed based on a constant, but we only update our position with it scaled by delta time. Okay. I mean, we could try to say, let's scale it by delta time here. You know, it would screw up a lot of things. We'd have to change the values here, but I'm like, this is the only thing I could think of. Because we tested, you know, the collision detection negates our dx, or our delta time, and walk speed. Oh, you know what? This is going off this constant, not the current walk speed. So actually that might be the issue. So we assign the walk speed. No, let's do this like I was saying. So we're gonna say current walk speed. Walk speed is gonna be whatever the default player walk speed is. And we're gonna scale that by delta time. I only want to modify our players X and Y based off the already scaled walk speed value. So we're gonna take out the delta time here. See, and I think we need to get rid of that anyway for touches. This actually might be screwing it up, because we're also cycling through our touch output list and changing our player's value. Okay, yeah, let's get rid of that. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Because now we're using baton. We don't want to be moving our player based on our baton, or based on our global touches table, which shouldn't even be existing. But we use it for the loot was touched. It's so jacked up. Let's try this. We get rid of the delta time here. Okay, now this should make us walk really slow, and then we should have to multiply our walk speed. It doesn't make us walk super slow. This is not great. Okay, is this in the update? Yes, it is. But it is only if our player's not falling and we're not in loot state. That's so jacked up, dude. Who coded this? Okay, we're modifying by player speed. We're scaling the walk speed by delta time. Let's just see if it looks somewhat normal. Yeah, the diagonals seem a little slow, but maybe not. I don't know. I think the diagonals are still wrong. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so now we're scaling our walk speed by delta time, and we're modifying it based on the scaled delta time. But this is also... Oh, shit, man. We're also doing this based on the output list, which is not what we need to do. We need to do it... Now we're doing movement not based on output list, but based on the baton's input handling. So yeah, this is a little weird. We never updated our play. Yeah, we never... Yeah, we've got to do this different. I don't think it'll change the collision, but it could be double applying some stuff based on the touch input and the baton input. I don't know. So let's try this. Let's do this not based on the input list, but we're gonna say if the input pressed left, okay. So we're changing our player's position based on a scaled walk speed and using our baton instead of using our old touch list. Oh my god, and then we just don't walk. Let's try this deployment. jacked up, man. Yeah, it's jacked up. So I'm assuming that when the frame rate is low, we're moving the player. Like, this is the issue. Like, our collision detection is based on tiny amount of pixels, right? Our top collision detection is based on a 4 pixel dialog box, right? So if, and this is the case, that our delta time is only 25, and whatever our walk speed is, scaled by delta time, is just too big of a chunk to register a collision properly. Like the scaled distance is just too big of a distance to properly register the collision detection. So I think what we need to do is move away from top collide, left collide, right collide, and instead just do AABB collide. And if there is a collision, we undo the movement based on walk speed scaled by delta time, so that we have up to 4 times as much pixel room to calculate these collisions. Because I'm pretty sure that's what's happening here, is when, even though we are properly scaling by delta time, you know, the amount that we're moving per frame would be equal over the course of a whole second. But that value, since it's being chopped up into a 30th instead of a 60th, that value is too big. It's bypassing the 4 pixel height for our top collides versus our side collides. So I think I just need to rehaul the collision detection on the player, go to pure AABB, and just anytime we get any collide, we just undo the vector based on the walk speed. It's just hard because it's like we can't know which direction to modify the vector. Yeah, see, that's the tough part. We don't know what direction to undo the walk speed. And that's why we had this top collide, side collide thing, is because we need to know where to move our player back to. So since our walk speed doesn't have a vector, it's just a speed, you know, it's just a positive value whether or not we're going left or right. It's almost like we need to change walk speed to be the direction. I don't know. Because we just need a way to undo. Once we have a collision, we need to undo the vector that we applied to. So it's really frustrating, but I'm almost positive it's because of this. And it's because we're doing it like a true Game Boy, and we're doing this based on 4 pixel amounts, which is like just so minuscule. So when delta time is small, like 20, it's just not big enough. The pixel variance is just, we just blow right past a top collides and go to a right collides, and then we're allowed to walk up out of frame. So it's just really jacked up, and we got to rehaul it. So I think that's the issue. I'm trying to think of how we would know how to move the player, and I guess we can just compare the top left origin point. If we are to the left of it and we collide, and beneath it and we collide, we can do an adjustment of a negative walk speed both in the left and to the right, scaled by the root of 2. God, I don't know, but I'm almost sure it's because of this. So I think we are doing the math right. It's just the pixels are so tiny. Yeah, and so like the thing is, either we scale up the actual resolution, which will throw off the math on basically everything in our whole game, and we scale up to maybe 4 times the size of Game Boy, and then the collision will be nicer because it's not 4 pixels of collision to check. It would be, 16 pixels of buffer, 4 times as much to check when we have the walk speed or the delta time. So I don't know what to do. I think we just rehaul it, and we're gonna have to find a way how to undo the vector of the movement. So we might update our player based on a vector movement now, so that we can undo the vector once we detect a collision. And I think that is just the best way, because we know we'll be in a safe spot, because once we collide we have to have come from a safe spot, and we'll just get set back to that spot. So I think that's what we'll do next, but a little disheartening. I hope I can finish it in the next day. If I can't finish it by tomorrow, we're just going to move on and finish the demo, because this is just too much junk that I didn't need to worry about before the demo's ready. It'd be nice if the demo could run on mobile. It'd be nice if it can run on the website by that time, but it's just a lot of headaches. So we might, if I can't figure out by tomorrow, we're going to have to change it up. So with that, I'm going to call it a night. We're going to raid out here. Let's see if Salto is still streaming. Let's hope he is. He is. We'll raid out to Salto. So the Merksu, the demo is going to be like the first dungeon. And we have the scripted cinematic. We have a loot minigame. We have the dungeon. We're going to have basically just like a 5-ish minute demo ready, and that's what we're going to be uploading to Steam for the Steam release page. So the goal is we finish, we've got a bet with Salto Mongo, finish the demo by April 1st, or we owe each other lunch. The loser owes the other lunch if we can't finish respective projects. So I'm trying to get the demo done by April 1st so that I can start the Steam page and get it up on Steam, and then continue development. So that's just the plan. But yeah, I'm calling it a night. I'll try to rehaul or think about how to rehaul this movement, because I'm pretty sure it's broken because of the small pixels. We're literally doing all our arithmetic based on 140 pixels, 160 by 144 pixels. So all the delta time adjustments are within those, whatever that resolution is, 160 by 144 pixels. And when we slice delta time, it just screws stuff up. So, have a good night, Merksu. Thanks for hanging, man. I'll catch you later. Peace out.
Really quickly colored pencil.